Hi everybody, and welcome to the 2012-2013 Lake Erie College Women's Basketball Preview here on LakeErieStorm.com. I'm Assistant Athletic Director Jason Tirotta, joined by veteran head coach Bob Booher. And Coach, let's talk a little bit about last year before we get into this year. A very successful season for the Storm, a 16-11 overall record, and our first appearance in the GLIAC tournament. Now the season may not have ended as you would hope with an early elimination from the tournament, but talk about the experience gained from the program's perspective of having a good year in just our second year in the conference.
Well, I think the key, Jason, was, we had some veteran athletes who had played a couple of years at Division II, and then going into the GLIAC that first year was difficult. There was an adjustment with the travel and the competition, that type of thing. And I think once the players started to grow accustomed to what was expected of them, things turned out very well for us.
Now, you said it was a very veteran team last year. You lost 8 seniors off of last year's team, so you're going to rely this year on a couple of key returners, if you'll talk about them for a little bit, but also a lot of fresh faces.
Well, we've got basically, out of our 19 people that are on the roster, we have 14 new faces that did not play last year for us. So we're only returning 5 people, and of those 5, we're talking probably less than 20% of our points, 20% of our rebounds. We've got a lot of opportunity for a lot of people to step up and make a difference this year.
A couple of those players returning, Sarah Wojciechowski and Chrissy Delaney, are 2 players who have played quite a few minutes in the last couple of years, so at least you have that kind of experience. What kind of veteran leaders do you expect them to be this year?
Well, Sarah is a very hard worker, limited in some of the things she does on the court, but a great 3-point shooter. When we're looking for that outside shot, if somebody wants to play a zone against us, Sarah's going to get on the floor and knock down some threes. Delaney's has the ability to back up people in the post, to do some things from the outside, also can shoot the threes. And then probably the most key personnel that's coming back will be Jackie Murray, who's a sophomore guard who actually got to start 4 games last year. She's going to have to run the point for us, and a lot's going to fall on her shoulders to get the team into the things we want to do.
You talked a lot about the newcomers, a really big freshman recruiting class with 13 players in it. Who are some of the key players from that group that we can expect to see playing major minutes early on?
Well, I think right now, Katie Skelton from Grand Haven, Michigan, her team won the state championship with the top division in Michigan the last 2 years, so I mean, she's going to play a key role. Shelby Carpenter is an extremely quick defensive guard who's going to get a lot of minutes. And then Carly Garst, whose team also made the Final Four out of Salem, Virginia the last 2 years. We expect a lot from her from the wing. So, I mean, those 3 right off the bat, I think are going to be critical performers for us.
And the Storm also added Char Harris, a transfer from Morehead State, to play in the post. Now, Coach, you talked about players last year being comfortable and accustomed to playing in the GLIAC and at the Division II level. Now this group are full Division II players now after the transition from Division III. But what was it like building a program from the Division III to the Division II level while competing in one of the top conferences in the country?
Well, I think one of the most important things you have to teach your players at that point is how to prepare for those back-to-back games on Thursdays and Saturdays against some of the best competition in the country. And, when you're young getting into that situation, you just don't understand what you're faced with game in and game out. I mean, top to bottom, the GLIAC is one of the strongest conferences around. And, there just are no easy games when you're on the road or when teams are coming into play. Everybody's prepared to play the game. And for us to get into that mode where we have to be prepared, Thursday playing a game at night and then turn right around and playing another tough competitor on Saturday, doesn't give you a lot of time to get ready. And that was one of the most difficult things we had to work on last year, was learning how to do that turnaround time as quickly as possible.
One of those things that are unique about building a program, and obviously when you talk about a level like the GLIAC and the competition, is you want to play your non-conference schedule to prepare you for the rigors of conference play. And one of the unique things that we've been able to do the last couple of years is that traditional matchup at Cleveland State. Talk a little bit about that for the program and how the team looks forward to that and the unique experience it is to be able to go into a Division I venue like the Wolstein Center and be able to compete, as we've gone toe-to-toe with them every year in the past.
Well, the last 3 or 4 years, their coach and I have had a very good relationship. Kate and I, have talked about what we need to do. They need it to prepare for their conference. The Horizon League starts right after the start of January, so they need a game to play against somebody that's going to run, somebody that's going to press, that type of thing, and she knows that's what we do. So the last 4 years we've gone down there. For me, it's always a great experience to go play a Division I program and give your players that opportunity to see what the Division I level's like. And you know, it's one of those things, we go in there and we know we're not supposed to win, but we know we're going to give them a battle every time.
Every time. The second half has been a very close game, and they've kind of had to sweat it out before they were able to pull out the victory, but always a good representation for the Storm. Coach, some final thoughts here on the upcoming season. What can fans look forward to from the Storm this year in 2012-13?
Well, I think one of the key things is we're going to be young, we're going to be aggressive. You know, when we talk about experience, you know, the 5 that are coming back are going to give us some experience. You know, and you and I have talked about the transfer student that we got out of Morehead State. Ashar Harris was probably one of the top 3 rebounders in the country the last 2 years. You know, in a transitional situation where we're going from an extremely veteran team to an extremely young team, you need a couple of veteran players to step up and do things for you on the court, you know, whether it's leadership verbally or just leadership by example. And, you know, we were lucky enough to pick up this transfer student, and Ashar Harris is a very tough kid. And when you talk about playing Division I people like Cleveland State and you need a certain level of toughness, she's going to bring that to us this year and hopefully be an example of what it takes to be successful at the Division II level.
All right, that's Coach Bob Booher with a preview of the Storm women's basketball team. We hope you'll join us on November the 1st here at the Jerome T. Osborne Family Athletic and Wellness Center for our men's and women's basketball preview night. The free event opens, the doors open at 6:30 with the event starting at 7. Games, contests, prizes, free t-shirts to the first 200 fans, so we hope you all come out on that. And the season tips off for real November 13th against Seton Hill right here at the Osborne Center. For Coach Bob Booher, I'm Jason Tirotta. Thanks for watching LakeErieStorm.com, and rage on.